Just so you can see, yes, I am still alive. Just under a little bit of a quarantine. COVID, I was exposed, and while the college was deciding what to do, they decided to put me under quarantine until a few days, since health issues and such. But I hope to see you guys back next week, and I'm hoping to dodge the bullet on COVID. But to keep you guys on track, we're already 1 day behind, so you guys get stuck with videos. I apologize for this. I hope Mr. Toby or Mr. Christian's hereby, because be prepared, because I'm going to say, guys, show them how to do the calculator. So let's start with our plus section. Now, I'm going to do this quick because it's about adding and subtracting of fractions. Let me drop a whiteboard here. All right. I know you guys are disappointed, can't see my astonishing face, but that's okay. We're going to talk about how to add and subtract fractions. When we add and subtract fractions, the bottom numbers or denominators have to be the same. Only the top numbers add. So in this case, 4 plus 3 would be 7/9. This also goes and holds true with subtracting. The bottom has to be the same. So 6s are the same. So 5 minus 1 gives us 4 6. But we also need to make sure that we are the most reduced. So in other words, we have to simplify. Excuse me for a moment. My coworkers are being passed again. You guys have heard me say this. Let me finish this problem and I'll show you the old man. So 4 6, does it reduce? The answer is yes. We can divide a 2 out of both. So we end up with 2/3. All right. Come here, Gizmo. That's my old man. He weighs in a whole 9 pounds, and he can no longer jump on the couch by himself. Hi, guys. As you can see, he only has one front tooth left. The other one is when I do stuff like that, she takes off. She doesn't like to get picked up and shown like that. He could care less. He's a ham. So you guys got to see Gizmo. All right. That was a quick interlude. So what do we do when the bottoms don't match? Well, we have to find something called a common denominator. And I hate saying it by its proper term. It's called the least common denominator. And the least common denominator means most people, when you hear the word least, you think smaller. No, it needs to be a bigger number. What number do both numbers multiply up to, not down to, not factor? Well, we can do it old school. And we start going, okay, there's counting by 3s. So you get 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Some of you guys already know I went past it. And then we do the same with the 4. We got 4 and 8 and 12. Oh, we stop once we get numbers that match. So a common denominator would be 12. That's old school. I'm going to show you a cheater. Multiply the bottoms. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then you cross multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. That replaces the 1. 3 times 3 replaces the top 3, which is 9. Now you add a cross. With this method, you'll always, it saves you time. You will have to try to reduce. I can tell you right now, 13/12 doesn't reduce because 13 is a prime number. Let's talk calculator. Your calculator will do it no matter what. So into the TI-84, type parentheses, 3, or oops, sorry, 1 divided by 3, parentheses, plus, parentheses, 3 divided by 4, parentheses, math. Check to make sure frac is selected, which typically is defaults to, and then hit, you want frac, enter, enter. And you should see the number 13/12 appear. This is how you can do it on the calculator. So let's try one on the calculator. 4/9 minus 2/5. All right. Key it into the calculator. And I'm doing the same things. I just made the numbers up. So we go parentheses, 4 divided by 9, close the parentheses, minus parentheses, 2 divided by 5, parentheses, math, enter, enter. Now I see an answer of 2/45. All right. How are we feeling? Decent? I'm pausing a little bit, but letting you guys fumble in case you guys need some help. Let's talk about minuses and negatives. What if I had -4/9 minus 2/5? On your calculator, you cannot use the same button for the minus and the negative. The negative portion is the bottom right. You'll see enter, and then you'll see a button that looks like this on the bottom row. That is the negative sign. The one on the right-hand side is right, is a minus. Okay, so to enter this one, you're going to hit negative or parentheses. You're going to hit the parentheses, and then you're going to hit that little negative button. 4 divided by 9, normal parentheses, minus parentheses 2 divided by 5, math, enter, enter. Because the frac button should already be defaulted. So when you do that, you get negative 38/45. All right. That's adding and subtracting of fractions. Now, the other thing in this homework on what, and this is 1.Ir5. I normally let you guys know that. That's what we're doing. Is how to find the lowest common denominator. And they'll give you two numbers and they say find the lowest common denominator. So let's say 6/35 and 9/14. Well, we have a cheater. Make an addition problem. And it'll show you what the lowest common denominator is between them. Let's talk how to do it longhand though. You break, when you're doing lowest common denominators, what do? You break them down into prime factors. Well, 7 times 5, those are both prime numbers. What is a prime number? A prime number is a number that can only be found by multiplying itself by 1. Well, 14 is not prime because I can also get to it by 2 times 7. But I can't get 7 by getting anything but going what? 1 times 7. So that makes it prime. So how do we find prime numbers? I mean, the lowest common denominators. Well, I tell students, stack your numbers. And then circle your pairs. Because when you circle a pair, list all your numbers. But when you have a pair, that only gets counted as once. So we got 2, 5 times 7, which is 70. So my lowest common denominator is 70. So let's put that to the test with the calculator. So remember I said we can cheat and do this as an addition problem. So let's go. 6 divided by 35 plus parentheses 9 divided by 14 parentheses math enter, and looky there, my calculator says 57/70, but the part that I'm really interested in is that lowest common denominator of 70. That's a cheater how you can find the lowest common denominator with your calculator, but the red portion is how we do it manually. All right, gents, that is 1.Ir5. Let's talk 6. Ir6. This is about adding, subtracting, and multiplying of decimals. And again, guess what? I'm really looking for you guys to use your calculators, but I still need to get you some basic knowledge on this. Let's say I have 83.63 plus 13.7. Well, when we add, we stack. So I have 83.63 plus 13.7. I line the decimals up. If I have a missing hole, I can backfill with a 0. Or I don't have to, I just know it's an empty spot. So then I do what? I add down. So 3 plus 0 is 3. 6 plus 7 is 13. Carry a 1. 3 plus 3 is 6. plus the 1 is 7. And 8 plus 1 is 9. All right. This works the same way with subtraction. (14.2 minus 11.61). We stack just like we did before. 14.2, and again, decimals got to line up. Now, this time I really do have to backfill since the missing number is on top. So now I can go do the subtraction. 0 minus 1. Ooh, no, I can't subtract 0 minus 1. So I need to go to my neighbor and borrow 10. I'm going to do that. I mix 0 into 10. So 10 minus 1 is 9. 1 minus 6. Ooh, I'm shy of number. So I'm going to go to my neighbor. And I'm going to borrow 1 or 10. So 10 minus 6 is 4. Now I can do the next two numbers together or just by themselves, because 3 minus 1 is 2 and 1 minus 1 is 0. Or I could say 13 minus 11, still 2. But there you go. There's your subtraction with borrowing. We basically go to our neighbors. Hey, I need 10 bucks. Can I borrow 10 bucks? Okay. How you key it on the calculator. If you look on the bottom, next to that negative sign, there is a period. That period is a decimal. So you literally key it the way you see it. Our first problem was 83 period 63 plus 13 period 7. And my calculator says 97.33. Same thing we did manually. Let's try the next one. 14.2. So it's 14.2 minus, it's the one on the right, 11.61. Enter. And I got, 2.59. Oh, I see what I did. I hope you guys caught it when I said it. When I borrowed it and then borrowed the 10 that goes in front, not after. So, sorry about that. That's what happens when you talk and teach. All right. Multiplying by decimals. When I multiply by decimals, I line up off of the right. And at first, I ignore the decimals. And think like distribution. I'm going to take each number on the bottom and distribute it through the top. So let's start with the 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. I've distributed 4 through the entire 122. I move over. 3 times 2 is 6. You notice when I wrote the 6, I wrote it underneath the 3. I start with the number, I start lining it up with where I start multiplying. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 1 is 3. I move over. 7 times 2 is 14. Again, 7 starts here. This time, 7 times 2 is 14. So I write the 4, and this time I'm carrying a 1. 7 times 2 is 14, plus I add 1 because I carried it and carry 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And then I add down. Well, 8 plus 6 is 14. I'm carrying a 1. There's 10, 11, 15. Carry the 1. Now, this is where the decimal places come into play. How many decimal places were on the top number? There was 1. How many on the second number? 2. So how many total decimal places? There's 3. That's how many decimal places I move in from the right. I move 3 places to the left from the end of the right. So the answer is 89.548. Okay. When we key it into the calculator, same thing. We type in 12.2 times 7.34. And when we do, just to double check my manual math, I see 89.548. Right? How are we feeling? Decent? Well, there you go. That is IR.6.